This week, the Army Painter announces something new is coming for Speedpaint. Plus, the Darktide had its closed beta, and I got to participate, and I had a blast with it. Plus, we have some new miniatures to talk about. All this and more in this week's Hobby News. I'm Angela, you're watching Hobby Night. Now let's jump into it.
We launched the feedback at armypainter.com. I'm pleased to say that we've had a zillion, approximately, requests for stuff to do and a lot of great ideas. One of those ideas is something we already worked on. Well, I said we, I mean you, mostly. Something we want, something you want, something the world is getting.
Speedpaint. Speedpaint. And a lot of it.
A ton of speedpaint.
Speedpaint.
And we're doing it in a way you have not seen before. We can't wait to show you how we do it, but
we can't talk about it yet.
Speed paint in new ways, speed paint in old ways, speed paint over there, everywhere basically. We're gonna do an Army Painter chat on you. That's what you want. So stay tuned to the channel. We'll show you some new things.
Speed paint.
The Army Painter had a video on their channel recently that talked about the speed paint, specifically about how they've been listening to our feedback, hearing that we've been wanting more, they've also been working on more, and we're going to be getting more. But they said it might be coming to us in new ways, which has me thinking, because they didn't really reveal what that meant or exactly what we're getting, so I get to now wildly speculate. Okay, so here are my thoughts on what we might be getting. It could be a potential new bottle design, because I will say that I've noted that sometimes in the caps of the current speed paint line that I have, it sometimes gets gunked up with the paint, and I don't really like that, so maybe we're getting a new bottle type. Perhaps they're going to be making some primers that are color matched to their speed paint line in the same way that they do their war paint line. Or maybe this just means that we're getting a new type of speed paint that we've not even seen from some of the other companies. For example, maybe we're getting a metallic speed paint line or a fluorescence speed paint line. Who knows? All I know is I'm excited. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it and letting you guys know what I find out. The Army Painter wasn't the only people to announce new hobby tools coming to us soon. Citadel also has 4 new hobby tools that are actually up for pre-order right now. The 4 tools that are coming out are a new precision cutter, which costs about $50 USD. We have a mold line remover that costs about $25 USD, a knife which is going to cost $34 USD, and then a drill and bits that come with it that is going to be $35 USD. Now the reason I'm talking about the prices is because sometimes I feel like those are really expensive for what these tools are. The only one I personally am actually interested in is the mold line remover, because I already use the existing mold line remover from Citadel and I like it. And this one's supposed to have a little bit of a thinner tip. And I'm kind of curious about the weird notch in it that's meant for like cleaning up your bases, like the edges of your base, which I don't quite understand, but I'm curious. So I might get that one, but the rest of these tools, I don't know if I can justify those prices, even with the focus on an ergonomic handle design, which is really what the article was talking about. They've changed the handles, they want to make them easier for us to hold, and so that they're less painful for us to hold over those long hours of prepping our miniatures for paint. And I just don't know if it's worth it. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you'll be picking up. Next, I want to go ahead and talk about the closed beta for Darktide. I don't know if you guys were able to get on it, but I was, and I have had a blast with the game. If you have played Vermintide from Batshark, then this is going to feel very, very familiar, with an emphasis on the shooting, which I personally really enjoyed. Now, of course, when I played Vermintide, I actually played the Ranger, so I guess it makes sense that I'm enjoying the ranged combat in Darktide, but it really does feel very good. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, other than the fact that I just enjoyed the gameplay of what I've been able to experience so far, was that the environment design in this game is stunning. Now, when you're normally playing a Warhammer 40k based game, I feel like most of the time your landscape ends up being totally ruined, like literally ruins, dilapidated, craters, all sorts of things, just corruption, whether it be from Xeno coming in and knocking things over, chaos coming in and actually literally corrupting things, or just other infighting amongst the Imperial factions. But in Darktide, the place still looks gritty and grimdark and very industrial, like I feel like it should, but it also feels clean and lived in, and like the people who want to be there don't want to just live in constant filth. And considering I feel like that is such a rare occurrence in our 40k games, I for one am absolutely just loving walking around the hub and enjoying the landscape as I've been playing the game. So when it comes out on November 30th, you can definitely expect to see me play it on the channel. All right, we've covered new hobby tools and we've covered video games. Let's move into the miniature section of this news because we have some new Horus Heresy upgrade sprues to talk about, and they belong this time to the Blood Angels. I love the look of these sprues. We've got some helmets, of course, to look at, and of course shoulder pads, and the helmets are where I want to focus this because I think they're glorious. There is just enough detail on them to make them definitively Blood Angels, but also give painters plenty of opportunity to play and do something unique with some of the patterns on the helms, and I absolutely love it. Plus, the one unhelmeted figure looks exactly like Prince Charming from Shrek, and I think that is hilarious. So I probably will be picking up this sprue if I want to make some Blood Angel specific Horus Heresy models, which is very likely because they're one of my favorite factions. Last week during Warhammer Day, we got the reveal of the next installment in Killteam, Shadow Vault, and in that box set, we're getting some brand new Cadians, a few new Necrons, and some more terrain that involves a bunch of walls and doors, which I actually am very excited about. But this week, we got to take a look at the actual sprues for both of the armies that are coming in the box set, and oh boy, do we get a variety of options. Now, the Necrons aren't getting quite as many options as the lovely Cadians, but they are still getting some opportunities for some uniqueness, including some brand new heads for your markman, oh my gosh, what are they called? The Death Marks? Yes, the Death Marks, they get some new heads, and honestly, they look really cool, but I do wish they got a bit more than just that. However, like I said, the focus is on the Imperial Guard, and you get 2 of every special weapon in this sprue, along with the just normal las guns that you might want to take, so you can build these guys out exactly how you want them to, which honestly is what we've come to expect from the Killteam sets. I think this is just something they're going to keep doing, and I really like seeing it, and I can't wait for these sets to become sold separately, as well as probably picking up Shadow Vault itself, because honestly, I have a Necron force, I really want a new Cadian force, and I like the terrain, so this might be one I actually grab. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump in and let you know that I've recently started live streaming, so if you never want to miss those, or if you've been enjoying the content you're watching today, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications. Now, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. We're sticking with the Imperial Guard because we have some big news in regards to their, upper management and their officers. We have the reveal of a new Castellan model, and frankly, it's a bit humdrum. It just looks like a slightly fancy version of the command squad that you're getting in the new Cadian box set that was also announced during Warhammer Day. Now, there's another big reason that I'm kind of bummed to see this lack of character on this model, and that's because with the leaked information that we're getting about the upcoming Imperial Guard Codex, we know that we have a couple of characters who are disappearing. Now, we already knew Creed was going away because he's kind of been replaced by his daughter, but Yarick is also going away. I think he's dead or something like that, and while he's at least not in the book, I don't know how they're writing him off. I can kind of imagine how, because if they are actually trying to progress this story forward in their own timeline, these characters being human would not last nearly as long as the Space Marines or other Xeno races, and so it's likely that they would eventually have to die. However, it's sad to see this character go because he had so much just going on his model, and with these new models that we're getting representing the leadership of the Imperial Guard, I just don't know if I feel like that vibe is still there, and it makes me a little sad because I miss the giant hats and ridiculous shoulders. Just give that back to me, GW, please. Last but not least this week, we need to talk about the new Underworlds kit that's coming because we got a reveal of 2 amazing chameleon skinks. Well, they're kind of amazing. The poses aren't the most dynamic, and I do hope that when we finally see the rest of the warband, we get something a little bit more dramatic than the two guys that we've seen. However, the main reason I wanted to talk about this article wasn't actually to gush about the cute chameleon skinks. It was more to talk about the fact that it seems like these skinks are coming out in another 2-player box set, which is also still set in the Gnarlwood setting, and I don't quite understand that logic because they literally just released a new 2-player starter set for Gnarlwood.
All right, well, I ranted here in this next section about how I was confused as to why we were getting another Underworld set already, despite the fact that we just got one. And the reason is because I didn't pay attention to the trailer apparently very well at all, because this set's for Warcry, not Underworlds at all. And now it explains everything.
So I don't really understand this marketing idea. I don't know if this means that the skinks and some of these other minis are not going to come out as individual packs, or if they just will be releasing that way much later. I'm very curious to see what's coming of this because it just doesn't quite make sense to me. Let me know what you think down below. All right, that has been it for this week in hobby news. Let me know, did you get to play in the Darktide closed beta? What do you think about the new models that are coming out? How do you feel about the fact that Yarrick might not be in the codex anymore? We've got a lot to talk about, so get down in the comments and let me know. Before I head out, I do want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for making it so content like this can continue to happen. Without your guys' support, we wouldn't be doing this, so thank you very, very much. I have been Angela, and I hope you have a wonderful hobby night.